Om Shanti. And thank you so much, Bhanubhai, for your pure wishes and blessings always. One thing to learn from it today for all of us. Whatever someone says about us, all the kind words that they say about us, it's actually a reflection of their personality. When their mind is happy, peaceful, and they're able to see goodness in everything around them, then every word they speak is full of love and respect. And so that's a reflection of their personality. But sometimes some people don't say very nice words to us or about us to other people. And it's at this time that we need to remember that what someone says about us is a reflection of their state of mind, their personality, their thought process, or just how they are feeling at that particular moment, their sanskar. So there's a very, very beautiful spiritual principle, which is Ninda Stuti Ek Saman, which means whether it's criticism or appreciation. So Ninda, criticism, Stuti, appreciation, Ek Saman, which means criticism or appreciation, defamation or a lot of praise. We just need to remain centered, untouched by both. Untouched by both, which means like a pendulum there, right in the center. If this pendulum oscillates to one side when it gets appreciation, then it's certain that it will oscillate to the other side when it gets criticism. For us to remain stable, untouched, absolutely untouched here, when someone doesn't say something nice about us, there's only one thing we need to do: remain untouched when someone's saying nice things about us, because it's a reflection of their personality. Their personality. And Ninda Stuti Ek Saman, which means stable in criticism and appreciation, is a very, very important spiritual tool which can keep us very, very strong emotionally, because when we can remain stable, if we receive appreciation or criticism, it gives us the power to remain stable in most situations of our life. Because what people have to say about us really matters a lot to us. And when we can remain untouched in what people say about us, then remaining untouched in other scenes of life becomes very easy. And why this is very important today? Because it's Independence Day. And I'm sure since midnight and today early morning, we're flooded with messages all over social media and our personal messages. Happy Independence Day. And we're saying 73 years, somebody's saying 74 years because it's the beginning of the 74th year, 73, 74 years of independence. But that is independence of the country. So it's Happy Independence Day of the country. We need to check when is it going to be my Happy Independence Day. So this is of the country, of course, huge, huge celebration everywhere. But what is going to be my day for my Happy Independence Day for myself? Let's take a minute of silence. Just sit back, relax. Close your eyes if you want to. Keep your eyes open, focused. It's just for a minute to just check your own self and to rank yourself or grade yourself or just check yourself. How independent am I emotionally? Freedom. And the parameter to check that, basic criteria. First, now keep ranking yourself. 1. How do I react to situations which are not my way? Do I blame the situation for how I'm feeling? Do I believe my mind is dependent on the quality of this situation? So if the situation is my way, I'm happy. If the situation is not my way, then I react and I endorse my reaction. I call it normal because I believe my mind is dependent on situations. Second, how do I feel when people behave in ways which I don't agree with? Is my mind dependent on people's behavior? Can one word from someone get me to be very happy? And another word brings a tear to my eye. And I blame them and I say, they hurt me. They upset me. They insulted me. They disrespected me. Is my mind dependent on people's behavior? Third, is my mind dependent on what people say about me? Which means what people think, feel, speak, write about me. Is my mind dependent on what others believe about me? Do I crave for people to be nice to me? It's a craving. Am I addicted to people approving of me? People appreciating me and what I have done, my work. Is my feeling good about myself dependent on people saying that I'm right? So am I dependent on people's opinion? Fourth, is my mind dependent on any object? Which means my phone, my technology, my gadgets, or just any object of comfort. So that if that object is not my way on a certain day, not working, not connecting, not as comfortable as I want it to be, not what I'm used to, any object. It could be my bed. If tomorrow I have to sleep somewhere else on another bed which I'm not used to, am I dependent on that? So objects. Does an object have the power to disturb my mind? And last, am I dependent on what I eat and drink? Any substance? Does my vocabulary say, I cannot do without my morning cup of tea or coffee? If I don't have that cup of tea or coffee, then I have a splitting headache. I cannot live without it. Is there anything around me for which I say, I cannot live without fill in the blank? It could be something to eat or drink, it could be an object, it could be a person. I cannot live without. Dependence. Now, just 5. So, is my mind dependent on situations? Is my mind dependent on people's behavior? Is my mind dependent on what people say about me? Is my mind dependent on objects? Is my mind dependent on what I consume, what I eat, drink, read, watch, listen? Now, this requires a lot of subtle checking, because it's very, very deep. Sometimes we're not even aware what all my mind is dependent on. But None of us, none of us would like a life of dependency. We all like independence, whether it's the independence of the country or whether it's physical independence. You know how many times we've said, I don't want to ever be dependent on anyone if I fall ill. I don't want to be dependent. I don't want someone taking care of me and making me walk to the washroom. I don't like to be we said this so often. We don't even like someone holding our hand and taking us to the washroom or helping us climb a flight of stairs. Even that kind of a dependence we don't like. But we've never realized we're dependent on people for our happiness, for our feeling respected, for our mind to be calm. It really wouldn't matter if somebody had to hold our hand for us to walk up 10 steps. It wouldn't matter if somebody had to hold my hand to take me to my room. It really wouldn't be that bad. But we still say, no, I don't want to be dependent on anybody. We don't like financial dependence. मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता. I don't like to ask people for money. I don't like to ask my parents for money. I don't want to ask my spouse for money. So I want to be independent. So independence, freedom is our sanskar. It's our nature, our personality. But the personality is actually about emotional independence. We're not focusing on emotional independence, and we're focusing only on physical independence, social independence, financial independence. Anybody says something, people say, who is anybody to say what we are supposed to do? We will live our way. So social independence, we don't want to be bound by society's norms of right and wrong, this and that. We said, no, I'm independent. I will do what I want. So physical independence, social independence, financial independence, but actually our personality, our nature is emotional independence. Because till we experience that emotional independence, we will not be able to experience that happiness, that peace, that calm, that ease, that contentment that we are looking for. We won't be able to experience. And it's very easy to experience this independence, provided we start wanting to work towards it. Because as a society, we called this dependence as normal. So even if we go to our life before COVID, which means let's rewind and go to 2019, and even 2019 was a life of complete dependence. So if we check our vocabulary, I'm angry because of, I'm irritated because of, I'm happy because of, it was always something because of. So which meant whatever is happening here in my mind, my world of thoughts, feelings, memories, intentions, everything inside, which means my inner world. And my inner world is I, because everything else, my outer world is my. So it's my body, my relationships, my work, all this is my. So our outer world is my. But this inner world, I, I, the creator of every thought, feeling, memory, intention, this I. So this I became dependent on the outer world, and we thought we were free and independent. And yet, life was becoming so suffocating, stressed, disturbed, diseased, troubled, because it's this I, was dependent on everything outside, even if it meant this I was dependent on this body. If I need my body to be perfect for me to feel good, then I am dependent on this body. I want my face to look perfect. I want my body to look perfect. I want my body to be healthy, which is all fine. The body should be healthy. But if one day my body is not healthy, or if something happens, my mind is not going to get affected by what will happen to my body, is independence. Is independence. Our chief of the Brahma Kumaris, who left her body on March 27th, she was 104 when she left Dadi Janki. And she was a practical embodiment and a practical example of someone who was detached from her body but living in the body. And detached from the body means that whatever happened to her body was not touching her mind, emotionally independent of her body. Emotionally independent of people, untouched by situations, yes, We're all experimenting with it, experiencing it most of the time, sometimes get a little disturbed, again get back to our independence. But she was an example of 100% emotional independence from her body, which means there was a lot happening in the body in 104 years. And actually, she's someone who was not born with a very strong, very healthy physical body. And since a very young age, she used to not keep well physically. And many, many times in her life, the doctor said, okay, she cannot now live anymore after this. This is very, very critical, very serious. And this is not now in her 90s or 100s. This was like since she was very young. And yet, she lived up to 104. She's a miracle as far as her body is concerned because she did not allow her mind to get affected by what was happening in the body. We think that when we will be healthy, we will be happy. It's the other way around. When we will be happy, we will be healthy. It's not matter over mind, it's mind over matter. It's our thoughts and vibrations which will affect. But this will become a reality only when we start living our life that way. Now, let's see. How does it matter? Whether I'm dependent or independent, is it going to make any difference to my life? Yes. When I remember that I, the being, I, the soul, I, this energy, we can call it consciousness, energy, light, being, soul, spirit, the word does not matter. It just means this energy and everything else is physical, this body, and then, of course, everything else outside. But this energy is the creator of every thought, feeling, emotion, word, and behavior. I. I am the creator. This is my natural personality. This is the reality of every soul, that I, the soul, am the creator of every thought, feeling, word, behavior. Now, we were living our life that way. This is only, let's say, past few decades, maybe a little more than that, that we've forgotten that we are the creators of our every thought, feeling, word, and behavior. So when we were living our life with this awareness that I am the creator, then it meant that the situation can be difficult, but I can be peaceful. There can be a COVID crisis outside, but I can be calm here because I am the creator of my thought and feeling. Not baat ऐसी है तो डर तो लगना ही है. It's a crisis. So fear and anxiety is natural, is what society said together. And we've said it for 4 months, more than 4 months, and not few hundreds or thousands. Millions and billions are saying fear and anxiety is normal. So you see how society is reinforcing a belief system, and we are reaffirming it every day, saying if there is a crisis outside, then fear and anxiety is normal. This is reaffirming my emotional dependence, and which means for me to feel fearless, calm, stable, I need the situation to be perfect. And so we are waiting. We are waiting. When will this outside world become perfect so that my inside world can be perfect? But my inside world was not perfect even before COVID. It was not, because that time I had some other situations. Earlier, when we asked people, what's the cause of your stress? They said, too much work. Don't get time to spend at home. Now they say, too much at home. I just need to move out from here. I have to leave my house and go to my workplace. So this way or that way, both ways, we were blaming the situation for how we were feeling. Because once I have a sanskar to blame, then I will always find something to blame for what I am feeling inside. If the situation was the cause of how we are feeling, then in any one situation, everyone should respond the same way because we are facing the same situation. Just go back to your family and just look at yourself, 4 or 5 or 2 or 3 of you in one place, and suddenly there is a situation in the family. There is a situation. You can call it a situation, you can call it a problem, you can call it a crisis, but there is a situation in a family. Hypothetically, all four are going to face that same situation. But do all four experience the same emotion? Check. Does that same situation have the same impact on four minds? Does the same pressure at work, 10 people of a team or 50 people of a team, same pressure, same crisis, same leader, same colleagues, does every member of the team experience the same emotion? It never can happen like that. Never. And every day we are seeing practical proof. We just need to detach and see, yes, they are feeling different. I'm feeling different. I'm so stressed. They are calm in the same situation. And yet I'm saying the situation is the cause of my stress. If the situation was the cause of my stress, then the situation has to affect everyone the same way. And it doesn't. So every day we have ample evidence that situations don't create our emotions, and yet we are not changing our belief system, yet we are not changing our vocabulary, because if we changed our belief system, then it's a new way of living from today. Then it's freedom, then it's independence. Then I can think and feel and speak and behave what I believe is right, even if the world is not my way. And the world could mean COVID, the world could mean my spouse, my children, my colleagues, my leader, my job, nothing. My mind would be dependent on nothing. I would work hard. I would take care of everybody. Things may go my way, things may not go my way, but my mind will always be my way. Emotional independence. People will not be my way. My job will not be my way. Tomorrow I may not have a job for a few days, but my mind will be my way. My spouse will not be my way. The weather will not be my way, but my mind will be my way. This is a reality. This is a reality. And when we start working with this reality and we shift from living the life of a victim and we shift to being a master, just sit back and visualize all those situations. Make a list one day, not one day, today. Make a list today of everything we blame, of everyone we blame when we are not happy inside. For everything we wait so that I will be happy. I will be happy when? Dependency. Dependency. I will be happy when? People are saying, I'll be happy when I get to travel. And when we were traveling, it's like, I'm tired of traveling so much. When will I get to sit at home? Blame game. Blame game is a depleter. Because when my mind is attached to something outside, then I cannot be happy always. Now the outside world fluctuates a lot. Kabhi aise, kabhi aise, kabhi aise. So outside world is fluctuating a lot. And because my mind is dependent on a fluctuating world, so my mind fluctuates a lot. So it's happy here, then it comes down, then it's tired, then it's excited. So it fluctuates. And that's why people said life is a roller coaster. And we heard the line and we say, right. Life is a roller coaster. And then we started forwarding this message to everybody. Very nice. Life is a roller coaster. Life is not a roller coaster. Situations is a roller coaster. Life is here. This is the body and this is life. This is life. Take this life out, and the doctor will say, sister, take the body out because the life has left. Outside can be a roller coaster. Life cannot be a roller coaster, because if life is a roller coaster, then we can never experience what we want to experience, that contentment, that stability, that focus, that concentration, that clarity, that creativity, the intuitive. Nothing can be experienced if there is a roller coaster here. So roller coaster is outside, not inside. And when inside is calm and stable, the outside also does not look like a roller coaster, because the outside world is only about how we perceive it inside. The outside world is only how we look at the outside world. So it's up to us. And that's why it's very important for this inner world, this I, to be very calm, stable, and happy. Because if I'm happy, then everything I see around me, I find it right. There's nothing much to complain about. I'm grateful for everything that's happening. My body and mind is healthy today, so much to be grateful for. But if my mind is not happy, I would have a lot to complain about throughout the day. So, how we perceive the outer world is also actually dependent on how we are here inside. So, today, very, very important day, let's gift ourselves independence. It's good to hear the biographies of everyone who worked so hard to get country the independence. They sacrificed their life for us to be free today. They suffered, they were tortured, but they took it all, smiling, happy, because they were creating freedom for the country, even though they were not going to live to see it. But they were getting freedom for the country. They were ready to do anything for us to get freedom. What are we ready to do for ourselves to get freedom? What am I ready to do? So that I liberate myself, because my bondages are created by me and I have to liberate myself. So in this case, there is no one outside with whom I have to entangle. I have created my dependencies and I have to liberate myself. So I am going to free myself from my own belief systems. And the first belief system is I am the creator of every thought, feeling, word, and behavior. This is a very, very simple line, very easy to understand, and yet needs constant practice, constant attention. So every time, so one homework, one experiment that we are going to do from today, and you can take it up as 1 week, at least a week experiment, but start with 24 hours. So 24 hours, live in this awareness. This is the stimulus. I am the creator of every thought, feeling. And every moment, because every scene requires a response from me. Every scene requires a response. The response could be in my mind, the response could be an outer response, but every scene requires a response from me. And that response is my choice. And I will choose. So the first is that I am the creator. So once I remember I am the creator, second is I have to choose my response. And I will choose that response which is healthy for me. I will choose that response which allows me to experience what I want. So now first I ask myself, what do I want? So most of us want love, happiness, peace, tranquility, power, purity here. So whatever I want, I will choose that in my every response. So now someone behaves to with me in a certain way, that's their choice that day. It's their choice. Just reflect to the first half of today. At home, with family, how they behave was a reflection of their choice. How I respond is a reflection of my choice. And I will choose only that which is going to make me strong here, and it builds up my emotional immunity system. And it's very, very important in the current times to build up your emotional immunity system, because then your physical immunity system is also strong. So choosing our response, so choosing the right response, the normal response, because every time we will choose the right response, the healthy response, that time we are going to energize this self.